to send someone up with SpaceX into the orbit, which I totally agree is the more extensive experience, but also 10 times the price. And I think that there's the bigger market for people for paying 450,000 for a ticket, and it's at some point 250,000 per ticket, than 10 million, okay? Virgin Galactic's plans are not that far like Blue Origin so far, or SpaceX. Do they have enough money to last them until Q4 2022? And the answer is so. With the recent turmoil on Virgin Galactic, I obviously received tons of message, and the best way to reach out to me is either the comment section, but also Instagram. So follow me on Instagram and text me there, and from time to time I will take the time and reply to all of the messages. Obviously, you know, I sometimes in specific situation like those are, you know, it's very hard to get to all of those. Some people are very emotional, I understand that, but let's dive into some questions that I really like by Alex. Alex sent me a message on Friday, and he said the following in a very, very nice, very, very professional manner. And that's why I will take the time and reply to all of those questions, because I think that those questions are maybe the most asked questions by people out there. So let's dive directly in. So Alex says, hello again, you always help me keep faith in Virgin Galactic with your videos. But now everywhere you look, everyone is bashing this company. My concerns are the following. First, delay until Q4 2022. But will it really happen in Q4 2022? With the history of the company, it will probably be Q1 or Q2 of 2023. Now, yes, of course that can happen. I mean, the industry is space industry, which is, you know, always with a grain of salt for deadlines. Okay, you can see this with Blue Origin, you can see this with SpaceX. And actually, I believe that the current delay is not really a delay, because they wanted to be ready in the Q3 of 2022. So now having all of this trouble and start now the enhanced period and then start the commercial operations, you know, and then be ready for Q4 2022 is, you know, a very, very minor shift of dates. But yes, obviously it can happen, okay? There's no guarantees always that companies stick to timelines. It's the same for Facebook, Apple, Amazon. Tesla was quite big in that, okay? Every time Elon Musk said, you know, this will happen until this and this, it was always wrong from the timeline, but eventually it all happened. Same with Virgin Galactic, right? I mean, how many delays we had in the test flight program, but we did it. How many delays we had in Richard Branson flight, and we did it. So also this will eventually turn out, and then the stock will obviously be much higher than it is today. So let's dive into the second question. Blue Origin has planned the first launch of New Glenn. This is the new rocket, you know, this is not the New Shepard that they are sending now tourists on, but a new rocket, which will be able to go to orbit in Q4 of 2022. Why will anybody choose Virgin Galactic when they will be able to go to orbit with SpaceX or Blue Origin? Now, this is a very good question, but think about that. To send someone up with SpaceX into the orbit, which I totally agree is the more extensive experience and much longer in zero gravity and much bigger, you know, PR and marketing, but also 10 times the price. Okay, there is a reason why there is 10 different car brands like Toyota and Mercedes. Not everyone can have a Mercedes, so that's why some people go for a Toyota, right? I'm not saying that Virgin Galactic is Toyota, but if you want to go for the very, very mass space tourism, the price must be as low as possible, because the people will always choose the starting price if they want to go for something just to try it out. And I think that there's the bigger market for people for paying 450,000 for a ticket, and it's at some point 250,000 per ticket, than 10 million, okay? And don't forget, Virgin Galactic's plans are not that far like Blue Origin so far, or SpaceX. SpaceX and Blue Origin want to build moon bases. And Jeff Bezos said it, they only do that with the space tourism to train a lot, to get a lot of experience to build the next big thing. And that's why I'm not that much convinced. I think that, you don't have to focus on other companies. There was so many times where people told me, Tesla will go bankrupt because the competition will come. But, there's always place for at least 10 players in a huge market like space. So the next big question or statement is they will drop the point-to-point travel, no news on the Q3 earnings. Well, this is not said because the Q3 earnings is coming up on the 8th of November, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually believe that the point-to-point travel is the next big thing for Virgin Galactic. So they will not drop and never dropped it so far. They just didn't had any news. They are focusing on the main business, which is okay for now, and then will gather the engineering power and steer their engineering minds to the point-to-point travel when it's the right time for the company, okay? So the statement is not really correct if you are saying that there's a dropping of the point-to-point travel. There's just no really updates, okay? So let's go to the next question, which is after Q3 earnings, we have no good news for a very long time, and maybe even the Q3 earnings will not include any good news. Well, again, this is an estimation which is also not proven yet. So we need to wait for the Q3 earnings. What is right that we could have a period where we don't have much news, but think about, if you're thinking about where they are now, they could announce something with the ticket sales. They could update us on the Delta Wing spacecraft, which is basically ready with the design phase and nobody knows how it looks like and how the future of this airplane spaceship is looking like. Then they can tell us a little bit about the point-to-point travel. If they have any news, there could be some other developments like a new spaceport or operation goes further, okay? There were so many other things beside the actual test flights that shoot up the stock. I just want to remind you guys, FAA commercial license, the new CEO, cabin reveal, even though it was a sell-off after the news, but towards the presentation, towards the news or the reveal of the Spaceship 3, all of this was not related to the test flight program or to any flights, and still we had this 4 big news in a very short amount of time, which is less than a year, okay? So I believe that there could be some surprises, and when this is happening, when there's surprises what the stock market don't anticipate, like the FAA approval of the license, the stock can really benefit from that quite significantly. Okay, now the last 3 questions by Alex is number 5, do they have enough money to last them until Q4 2022? And the answer is yes. They just recently raised over $500 million, and they are burning about 60 to 50 million dollars, so they can go more than 1.5 years without raising any new funds. So they have basically no debt, so it's basically almost impossible to go bankrupt. So I really like the setup, okay? Having enough money, working on a project that is so futuristic with such a huge potential, and having enough cash to sustain a very long time is the perfect setup, guys, okay? The next question is, you compare buying space with buying Tesla, but Tesla was ahead of competition and Virgin Galactic is not. Well, that's not really true. When I started to invest in Tesla was very close to bankruptcy. There was a huge amount of negative news for Tesla. Tesla had to cut 30-40% of their workforce. They are heading into very big problems of manufacturing and mass producing Model 3. They had negative news about Elon Musk itself being a maniac and doing bad things, and the news about Tesla was much worse than space, in my personal opinion. That's for one. And it's not right to reduce Tesla in space, just comparing by competition. There was a lot of competition for Tesla. There's BYD that, sold almost some quarters more cars than Tesla. There was NIO, there was the other car manufacturers coming out with models. It was always the narrative of the news, of the media. Hey, they will come with models that Tesla will be sacrificing their sales and so on. So the news is very much what is reminding me of Tesla. Tesla was a totally different, state or phase of development. Okay, I mean, Tesla had already $20 billion of revenue. Space has zero. So you have to compare Space rather to Tesla in 2009, 2010, where they had almost zero revenue. They building the first Model S, and even then the stock was very volatile. It went from 50 to 30 to 100 to 30. This was normal, and some people hold it, which got millionaires in the way, and some people sold early. Like this guy, you can see that he sold 3,000 shares that he bought at $30, and if he would have now all of the shares, that would be around $15 million almost. So think about that if you have this long-term view as well. And now let's get it to the last question. More insider selling with the lock-up period expiration. What do you think? Well, I discussed this in my recent live stream. There could be both situations, okay? There could be some selling and some pressure, but there could be also a potential if not big sales will happen by insiders and short sellers need to buy back the stock. It could something happen like it happened in the Yelp 2012 situation where the stock went up 25%. So it's never said. It could be a little bit, what I can guarantee you, it will stay for the next years very volatile about Space. Okay, Space can go back to 15 to 10 even, but it can also go back to 60 and then to 100 in very no time with some crazy news that they have in their sleeves. So you never know. That's the beauty about the stock market, and that's why I believe the very, very best way to invest in such companies is the long-term perspective.